Okay, wasn't that a lot of fun? I'm sure not. I'm still not quite sure what happened, but apparently we've got some gremlins with us tonight. So we're going to start this whole thing over again. A little bit late, so I won't go quite as long. But we're going to redo the Michigan Brand Ham for the Holidays contest because Nick wasn't even on here. He's going to be on here now. Hey, there's Brent. Yep, I'm back with you, Brent. How you doing tonight, buddy? Glad to have you along with us on take 2 of Wednesday Night Live. Not quite sure what happened. I know that Instagram was the culprit for our audio problems, but I'm not sure, quite sure what the rest of the culprits were. Hello, Jeff. How you doing? Nice to have you along with us. Appreciate you joining me on this edition of Wednesday Night Live, the last Wednesday Night Live of 2023. Uncle Johnny Payton says, hi. Hey, Patey. How you doing, kiddo? What about your brother? Is he there too? I hear you have a new doll, Patey. Lori, good evening. Hey, nothing. Hey, Nick, you didn't do anything wrong, man. That's all me. Tim, welcome back. John's got you live again. So what we're going to do here in just a couple of minutes, we're going to let our audience – thank you, Craig. Going to let the audience repopulate, get a few more people on here, and then we'll open up the last Michigan Brand Ham for the Holidays contest. Good evening, Mike. To sum it all up, I was so excited about being able to go live to Instagram as well, but apparently it screws up my audio. It's not worth it. I will figure out a workaround for that if there is one. Don't do it yet, Mark. We're not doing it yet. We had a Michigan Brand Ham as well. Thank you, Brett. Appreciate that. Give me a couple of minutes here, and then we'll do the Michigan Brand Ham for the Holidays giveaway, the last one of the season. MichiganBrand.net, MichiganBrand.net. We had a Michigan Brand Ham at our house. It was outstanding. Sent a lot of it home with our guests, and I kept some around the house here, so I can eat it as well. Who else we got here? Johnny Bowler. Good evening, buddy. Thank you, Brad. Appreciate that. Justin's back. Justin's the one who first alerted me that we had audio problems. Hello, Matt. How are you? Matt, I tell you what, I had to do the same thing at our Wednesday Night Live up at the Lumberjack. Who just said it? Johnny, I said hi to Joni. Matt, Thomas. We got a good crew back with us again, and I do certainly appreciate it. Sorry for the rabbit homesteading. Instagram. Tim, I am going to give up on Instagram for a while until they can. I will send a tech support email off to StreamYard and see if they know what's going on. But yeah, this isn't worth it. All right, so if you were with us before, Mark says, don't tell me I can't talk about a delicious Michigan Brand Ham while watching my favorite outdoor magazine streaming show. You can talk about it. You just won't be entered in the contest yet. Thank you, Zach. Said it sounds good. Hooked up sport fishing. Where'd you go? Lane, don't waste your comments yet, Lane. Johnny, don't waste your comments. Johnny, we're going to follow up on that. There's a new blind coming out. There's a new blind that's going to make that wraith look. Ugh. It's garbled again now? Right now, Craig? This should not be overloading. I got a pretty good, fast signal here. Oh, great. So you got those behind your house, eh? Okay, so now that we've got an audience back here, you know how this works. Do not make your comments yet. This is the last Wednesday Night Live of 2023 before. Okay, good. Brian, I support Mitch Rompola, Mike Avery, and Michigan Brand Ham. Okay, we're all good. It was just that stupid Instagram that was screwing me up. Okay, you know how this works. Starting right now, you have 2 minutes to make your comments on why you want to win the last Michigan Brand Ham for the holidays. Please don't make your comments saying, I'll give it to a needy family. Even though that's an honorable thing to do, it makes it impossible. Try to make your comments clever. Try to make your comments witty. And Nick Grillo will be picking the last one for the year. We will hopefully do them again for Lent. By the way, MichiganBrand.net, MichiganBrand.net. Go to the website, MichiganBrand.net. Go to the store. Use the promo code Mike20 and get 20% off everything on the website, and they will ship to your house. Oh, John made the same comment, which I think is a pretty good one. Mike, Lori wants to win one. Brad, John says he loves that ham. Michigan brand ham. That ham was delicious, Gene says. He says, thank you, Nick. That Nick guy is A-okay? Yeah, that Nick guy's one of my guests on the radio show this week made some very nice comments about Nick. I'll tell you more about that. 1 minute on why you want to win a Michigan brand ham for the holidays. Last one, 10-pound walleye. Nice. Never had one. Never had one. They sound amazing. They are amazing. We've had one for every holiday, including Christmas. 30 seconds. 30 seconds on why you want to win a Michigan brand ham. Captain Mark Pananzak had his on Christmas Eve. 20. 15. You got a few more seconds. 10. 9. 8. 7. 6. 5. 4. 3. 2. 1. Give me a time. Give me a time. I see a 69.3. I see a 64. Quality. 42. I am a little bit out of breath, but I'm back with. So, are we talking a new record yet? Did the audio stick? Not bad. Scott says, hell. Is that a new record? 49. We need to get John Callison on here. He's the official scorekeeper. 54. So who kept the official score? I can go back and check it, but I'm pretty sure tonight was an absolute record, a new record for the buzzer on the Michigan brand ham for the holidays. It felt good. Felt like I had a good one going there. Hey, Brent, good evening. How are you doing? It was a good one, wasn't it? Jason, how are you? Jason, you just missed the best buzzer probably ever here on Wednesday Night Live. Waiting for Nick Grillo now to pick our winner. If he hasn't, he might have already, and I just haven't seen it. Nathan Otto is tonight's winner for the last ham for the holidays of 2023. Nathan Otto. Nathan Otto. Nathan, please send me a private message or an email to Mike at MikeAveryOutdoors.com, Mike at MikeAveryOutdoors.com. Give me your email or your shipping address, please, and Nick will get that ham out to you as soon as possible. This is our last ham for the holidays for 2023. I suspect we'll probably do it again in the springtime during Lent. So a big thank you. And if all of you would thank our mutual friend, Nick Grillo, and the Grillo family of Michigan brand meats, I would appreciate it. It's actually pronounced Ethan Smith. That's a good one. Congrats. That's a good one. The Grillo family, Nick Grillo, Michigan brand, have been extraordinarily generous, and they have given away a lot of product for this show, for the live streams, to the Wednesday night lives in person. Their website is michiganbrand.net. That's michiganbrand.net. If you go to their website, michiganbrand.net, and a lot of people saying thank you to Nick, and you use the promo code Mike20, that's Mike20, you can get 20% off everything on the website. Also, there's a store locator there, a store locator button You say, well, we don't have any Michigan brand shops in our area. I bet you do. Go to michiganbrand.net, put in the store locator button, Eating Randy, and put in your zip code, and it will find a Michigan brand store next to you. So Nathan Otto, congrats to you. Nick Grillo, thank you very much. And Nick, I'm going to be talking about you here again in just a minute, so stick around. So, okay. So this is take 2 of Wednesday Night Live. We found out, yes, promo code Mike20 for 20% off. Yes, that's very true. Go to michiganbrand.net at the store. Use the promo code Mike20 for 20% off. Stand-up business, Michigan people. Thank you, Nick. Michigan Brand is awesome. Thank you to Michigan Brand for your generous giving. They certainly are a great company. Great family-owned, Michigan-based company, and you know that I absolutely love that. So I'm back for take 2. Apparently, Instagram screws up the rest of our feed, so it's not worth it. So as Tim Bin says, I'm going to stay away from Instagram for a while until we get that thing figured out. Bernie, good evening. How are you? Nice to have you along with us. Okay, let me talk about a few other things now. Last Wednesday Night Live of 2023. Can you believe it's 2024? Did you make any New Year's resolutions? More on that in a minute. Can you believe the weather? 55 degrees yesterday in my neck of the woods here on the day after Christmas. 55 degrees. When are we going to have to start doing ice? You're going crazy. I say don't look for ice this year, James. Nick says Little Joe is with him. He still thinks about walleye fishing all the time. Hey, Joe. You are welcome, buddy. You and your dad and your Uncle Nick are welcome on my boat anytime. And you turn to your Uncle Nick right now and say, hey, Mike Avery says we can go fishing. And so we got to go. Instagram and Westwood One both suck. They absolutely do. All right, Johnny, talk to you later, buddy. Pure Michigan Hunt. We'll talk about that as well. The weather's great for trolling on the bay. Absolutely. Commercial fishing bill. Haven't heard any more about it. Central Coast Angling says Little Joe is a perch catching machine. Nope, not 20% off on hams at Jack's. If you go to the website, michiganbrand.net, michiganbrand.net, use the promo code Mike20, you can get 20% off on the website, not at Jack's, although their products are at Jack's. So the weather, if you're an ice fisherman or a snowmobiler, it stinks. I think it's going to be one of those years where you don't look for much. Toro Grosso was on the show several weeks ago and said, don't look for much of a winter. He said, if we get through November and December, don't look for much of a winter. Scott, just do a search. Go to Ugly Stick. Google search, go to Ugly Stick, and they will show you exactly what I'm talking about. Mark, good evening. How are you? How are things in Arizona? Joe says Lakers and walleye are hot at the pier heads. Good evening, Lost Glove. Nice to have you along with us. Thank you again for your generous contribution to the Avery Maker's Mark Fund. Lots of up north business is going to be hurting. Jim, good evening. Okay. Even though we haven't had a lot of snow, if you or Scott, just send me a close-up picture of the logo on. It'll say Ugly Stick. It'll say Shakespeare Ugly Stick. And here's the other telltale thing. If it's an ugly stick, it will have a white, semi-clear section at the tip about 5 inches long. Well, interesting you say that, Kendall. We're going to talk about the UP deer herd tonight as well. No ice fishing, but open water action is really hot right now. Saginaw Bay, lots of double-digit fish. That's 10 pounds and more. Saginaw River, lots of smaller fish. Lake St. Clair River, Detroit River, Lake Erie. Salmon said fishing on the west side of the state. Yeah, Scott, please do. Arlen, we had a great Christmas. We had a wonderful Christmas. In fact, my daughter and her new husband, my daughter Shelby and her new husband Aditya, just left a couple hours ago. And they came in the 23rd. So we've had a real nice visit with them. It was wonderful. Really nice. You think an Ohio buck would be good too? I wouldn't rule it out. Patrick says, hey, Nick Grillo, Matt's Fresh Market carries your jerky and sticks, but not your hams. Give them a call and see if they'll start carrying them. I've been told about the hams. You know what's better, Patrick? If you call them and say you want them to carry Michigan brand hams, I suspect your phone call might carry more weight than Nick's does. Mark says, Mike, me and the boys at the Monroe Street Tap want to thank you for grabbing the bull by the horns and reaching out to Mitch today. The Michigan hunting community needs a leader like you to lead the charge and get Mr. Ron Polo to share his hunting knowledge with this new generation. I don't think he's going to thank you, Mark. I don't think he's going to do it. You have several times. Then you've done your part. Okay. Let me walk through the rest of my list here. Still no deer for me. Honestly, it's getting ridiculous. I hunted last week in an east wind. Would have been perfect for where I was sitting. The deer are coming into the food plots after dark, not seeing them during the daylight. So I moved away from the food plots. I moved back into the woods. I moved over towards the state land that the deer are coming from and still never saw a thing. So I was faced with a dilemma. Do I take guys like Scott Hand and Corey Phillips and Scott Gatza and Tim Roller up on their offer to have me come to their house and shoot one of their does? Or do I bite the bullet, take a chance on going venison-less, and be a stubborn dumbass and stick with the lease property, even though there's nothing moving? I was going to call either Scott or Corey or Scott and say, I want to come over Thursday or possibly Friday. Sitting in the truck this morning, as I was getting ready for the radio show, doing my prep, it hit me. If I was to do that and move to a different property now after all this time, even though I would likely shoot a doe, it wouldn't mean as much. So I made the decision that I'm going to stay on the lease property. Maybe it's going to happen. Maybe it's not. I'm stubborn. I am bullheaded. And if you say the definition of insanity is to do the same thing over and over and expect a different outcome, I'm probably insane. But I really want to make it happen the way I want to make it happen. I know, Andy, you can't eat stubborn and you can't eat boneheaded and you can't eat dumb. But it's just the way I think I want to do it, even if it means not getting a deer. And that was one of my goals for this year, was to shoot a big Michigan doe. And anybody who is a bad enough hunter that they can't shoot a doe in Michigan with a 6-week firearm season has to be a terrible hunter. Here I am. You're looking at him. So that's what. Corey, I appreciate it. Scott Hand, I appreciate it. Scott Gatz, I appreciate it. Tim Roller, I appreciate it. But I'm going to be stubborn. I'm going to stay on the lease. And we're going to see what happens. Okay. So it is the new year, almost. A lot of people make New Year's resolutions. I don't make New Year's resolutions because resolutions are meant to be broken. I make goals, something I can work towards. Last year, one of my goals was to kill a turkey, a bear, and a Michigan deer. I did kill a turkey. I did kill a bear. I did not kill a Michigan deer yet, but I still have time. Paul Phillips says, stick with it. I'm going to, Paul. Let's not get carried away, Joe. I appreciate it, but let's not get carried away. This year's goals. Again, just shoot a Michigan deer. I'm not even talking a buck or a big buck. Yeah, he shot a nice one this year, Mark. Tim shot a nice one this year. And I'm not even trying to shoot a nice buck. I just want to shoot a doe. So that's one of my goals. Shoot a doe next year, 2024. And that's not much of a goal. Another goal is to fish more. Now, I'm not even sure how I could fish more than I did last summer, but I'm going to try. And along with that is I'm going to make a goal of taking more newbies out on the water. I want to take more people who haven't trolled for Saginaw Bay walleye on the Angler Quest or on an Angler Quest before. Those are the people I want to get underwater this summer. I want to show them the Angler Quest. I want to show them walleye trolling, and I want to show them Saginaw Bay. Looking forward to that. Another goal, to finally get rid of that stupid 3-rod restriction on Great Lakes trolling anglers. I've been talking about this for a few years now. I was asked to put it on hold for a while during the whole consent decree negotiations. Those are now done. I feel like if there's no white tip, it's not an ugly stick. I feel like there are some things in the works behind the scenes right now that can probably make this happen. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to support those people, support those groups, support their ideas, and see if we can't open it up where Great Lakes trolling anglers can run more than 3 rods per angler. Only makes sense to me. You're not hurting the fishery because the fishery will still be protected. Say on Saginaw Bay, it'll still be 8 fish. It'll still be a 13-inch limit. It doesn't matter if you catch those fish with 3 rods or if you catch them with 10 rods. It doesn't matter. Why we have that law, I don't know. And I think laws that can't be enforced and laws that have no reason are dumb to have. I think that's a dumb rule, dumb law. And my last goal for this year, for 2024, for next year, is to win the Pure Michigan Hunt. I am going to win the Pure Michigan Hunt. It's going to happen. Maybe this year, maybe next, maybe sometime when I'm still alive, but it's going to happen while I'm still alive. Okay, let me talk about, before I get to Ron Polo, let me talk about this week's Outdoor Magazine radio show rundown. John Durka, who was with us when I was over on Instagram, Purely Michigan Spearfishing, talks about his group's plan, goal to open up underwater spearfishing to salmon. John explains what the sport is about and explains why he thinks that's a good idea. Then Bob Ransom of Primal Tree Stands tells me about a new blind they're adding to the rundown that Bob assures me will become my favorite blind and replace my beloved Wraith 270 see-through blind. It's called a Harvester. It's a little bit bigger with the Wraith, a little bit bigger than the Wraith. It has a different window configuration. It has blackout curtains on the side, removable blackout curtains, which I love because I was telling Bob when I go out to hunt out of a Wraith, I take a big black sweatshirt or a big black t-shirt, and whatever side the sun is coming in on, I put that up there to block the sun. This one comes with removable sunshades. It also has a magnetic door, no more zipper. It's called the Harvester. They're unveiling it 2 weeks from now at the ATA show in St. Louis. Can't wait to see it. Second hour, Dave Johnson, the president of the UP Sportsmen's Alliance, joins me to talk about the UP deer herd, UP deer management, wolves, the DNR, and the tradition of deer hunting in the UP in general, and some other topics. Then Eric Hilliard of the DNR reminds us about the Pure Michigan Hunt. You have until January 31st to apply. January 31st, go to michigan.gov/PMH. You can apply there. I think you can get your you can get your applications through the app, the phone app. You can go to a license agent. $5 to apply. You can apply multiple times, as many times as you want. Just make sure you do it by January 31st. 3 winners will be drawn the 3rd week in January. This week's Ask Avery question, a couple of them. You know, I posted a picture of the albino doe from Chippewa County on my Facebook page. Inevitably, people said, "Can you shoot that?" Well, you can't. That's the question. I mean, you can. That is the answer to the question. Now in Michigan, about 8 years ago, they changed the law that you can shoot an albino or a piebald animal. Now, some people are going to say, well, I don't want to do that. I disagree with it. I don't think it sounds right. Well, you don't have to. No, it's December 31st, Derek. Thank you. If I said January 31st, thank you for correcting me. December 31st, December 31st, December 31st, December 31st. December 31st. Thank you, Derek. Thank you, Craig. It's December 31st, 11:59 p.m. on December 31st to get your Pure Michigan applications in. Thank you guys for catching that. So I think the Harvester is going to be the blind for me from now on. And did I mention it's a little bit bigger than the Wraith? The second part of the Ask Avery segment this week, I talk about Mitch Rompola, and it's not Rompala, it's Rompola. That's right, Mick did. It was Mick's video, yes, and I thanked him very much for that. I talk about Rompola. For some reason, it's the story that won't die. And this is 25 years later. And I am fascinated by how the discussion continues. And I'm also fascinated by what I see, what I perceive is that most of the people who think he's a shyster and think it's a scam and don't agree with him or believe him have never met the man. And that most of the people who have met him and talked with him think it's real. If you do a search right now for Mitch Rompola, and it's Rompola, it's not Rompala. If you do a search right now for Mitch Rompola, Josh, I can't tell you yet. It'll be on the website. Bob Ransom told me it will be available in time for the Michigan spring turkey season. If you do a search right now for Mitch Rompola, you'll find my name in there because I did some interviews with the guys, radio interviews and TV interviews. 25 years, yeah. I actually texted Mitch this morning. I do it every once in a while just to try to stay on his radar screen. I texted him this morning and said, Mitch, I can't believe it's been 25 years and this is still going on. Do you laugh at this or does it make you mad? Also, Mitch, you know that I am a supporter of yours. I'd love to get you on the radio show to talk about this, bring people up to speed, maybe clarify some things. And then what was the third thing I asked? Oh, I said, Mitch, by the way, Mitch, do you have a copy of that radio show we did immediately after you killed that buck? Because he was on my show describing the entire hunt and the recovery. Back then, we didn't record our shows, but I wasn't too worried about it because I thought, well, this will continue to be in the news for a long time, and Mitch will continue to be available because he had always been available to me. Little did I know that he was going to go underground, and nobody would ever hear from him again. So I don't have a copy of the interview. You can actually hear an excerpt from that radio conversation if you do a search for Rompola recovery video. The audio, the sound that is used on top of that video is an excerpt from the radio conversation I had with Mitch. I want to find that entire interview. So I said, Mitch, do you happen to have a copy of that? Because I don't. I did not expect Mitch to respond. And he didn't. Regardless, going back to my New Year's goals, and this is not so much a goal as it is a dream or a wish or a prayer, is that Mitch would answer my requests and come back on the radio show with me, maybe even do a video interview. To be honest with you, I don't think it's going to happen. I'd like to. And I think if Mitch finally says, you know what, I've had enough of this, I'm going to talk, I think I'm his guy. I've been to his house. I listened to his stories in awe. Publicly defended him for a quarter of a century. Arlen, if I have his phone number, why would I send him a letter? Just saying. No, I know his number is the same. It's not the same number I had 25 years ago, but I know this number that I have is Mitch's, and he has read receipts turned on, and I can tell that he read them. He just hasn't responded, and I didn't expect that he would. But doesn't hurt to try. No, it's worth it. I guess the way I look at it, Arlen, and you're right, just a thought and worth a try. But I figure, you know what? If he wants to talk, he's going to respond to my texts. If he doesn't want to talk, he's not going to. But it would be one of my dreams for 2024. And I think because we had a take 2 on this thing, because the Instagram audio, I'm really rapidly starting to hate Instagram. You're not familiar with this story. James, I'm not going to go into it right now, but when we get off here, do a search for Mitch Rompola, Rompola, and you will find out this story. Scott says, Mitch, please reach out to Mike. Yeah, maybe he's listening right now under a different. I don't expect to hear from Mitch, but if I do, it'll be a happy day. Happy day. Johnson, thank you for putting my deer and tree on top of the car on your page. That was from the family cabin. Good luck with your doe. Looking forward to the show next year. Always look forward to it. I appreciate that. And thanks for the well wishes on the doe. Yeah, maybe we can bribe Mitch with a Michigan brand ham and some Rec broadheads and maybe an Angler Quest and a Garber Silverado ZR2. Maybe that's... No, Mitch is not the kind of guy who's going to do anything funny. What's this mean? You know what that means. It means it's time to wrap up this edition of Wednesday Night Live. Thank you, Nick Grillo, for giving us another Michigan brand ham for the holidays. MichiganBrand.net, MichiganBrand.net. Use the promo code Mike20, get 20% off. Congrats to Nathan Otto. Nathan, send me an email to Mike at MikeAveryOutdoors.com or hit me up with a private message here on Facebook with your shipping address. Nick, what was I going to tell you? A third hour, Bob Hines of Central Coast Angling joins me. And, of course, Wild Game Chef Dixie Dave Miner. Bob and I were talking, Nick, about what an outstanding outdoorsman you are. We were talking about, I said, Nick has really got a good feel for a jig and stick. And he said, I think Nick is good at everything in the outdoors. So congrats, buddy. People noticed your prowess in the outdoors. I think that's it. Do you want snow? I don't know if you're going to get it. Do I want my deer? My doe? I don't know if I'm going to get it. My name is Mike Avery. My website is MikeAveryOutdoors.com, MikeAveryOutdoors.com. My website, my email address, Mike at MikeAveryOutdoors.com. This is Wednesday Night Live. Happy New Year.